welcome to Underground is Female. Thanks for watching. We have Des with us today. She's a lovely artist, so today we're just going to talk about her art and her life journey. So thank you for coming today, Des.
Of course.
So, you brought some wonderful pieces with you today, so I just want to take some time and admire this shit. Because, like I said, I think I tweeted it recently that I need a museum with this in it. Because I think you are so talented.
Thank you.
Of course, I feel like I love going to museums. Whenever I'm traveling, I love to, go see the art of, the city that I'm in. And it's sometimes I find some cool stuff, and other times, I'm okay. Even when it's right here in Miami, I'm this is
it's a lot of really old stuff.
Yeah.
It's not new generation, different colors, different vibe, different everything. It's just different.
So I really love how modern your stuff is, and so right now we're looking at this one. And one thing I really love about your art, and probably other people who are fans of your art, is just how trippy and random it is. I feel like that adds personality. I feel like when I look at this painting, it's just it's just so much emotion. I don't know. It screams a lot of emotion to me. It looks like my brain.
That's literally how I feel.
It looks literally I have this thought going on over here.
It's just everything.
I have this thought going on, all these random things just going on, and a little bit of love sprinkling down on it. So tell me about this painting. Tell me what state of mind were you in when you were creating it and such.
Okay. So I am very emotional.
Yeah.
So you're right about that. Everything is kind of everything means something to me. I don't just do something because it looks cool. I don't just add all these colors because they look good. They look good together, and I feel like it brings it all together because to me it means something.
Yeah.
So this was just kind of something that happened. It came from a situation that happened in the beginning of the year. Kind of had me in a place that was really confused. There's some broken hearts here because I just felt a lot of emotion as far as sadness and uncertainty, dealing with different situations and different people. And I always do the flower and the ballerina leg. And that has different meanings, but it was all just confusion, just trying to figure out where I was, what I was doing, what I was trying to be about, just myself, trying to understand myself. So.
And that was earlier this year?
Yeah, that was just this year.
That's, I feel that's so relatable, because I could definitely relate, my art and what I'm putting out and, what I'm working on is, I feel I was in the same frame of mind. So I feel things are more universal than, we think, So it's you're going through something and you think, oh, I'm the only one dealing with this, but really,
you're not.
You're
it's
not.
Literally everybody.
Yes.
Everybody is confused.
Especially at, I think, our age, 20s and stuff like that. You're trying to figure yourself out. You think you have to have all your shit together.
And it's so scary. Because you see other people that are, on larger platforms dealing with the same exact things.
Yeah.
And you look at them and you're I know what they're dealing with. And it's scary.
Yeah. But I think in the end, I think that when we continue to use our art to help us heal and, to help us get through things like this, I think that's where, you're going to be okay. Because, you're healing. Art is healing. Creating art is healing. And I'm sure this piece helped you heal a little bit.
Yeah. Every time I look at it, I just, think back. And it was not even long ago. It was the beginning of the year. So now when I think back, it's just, so much has changed in so little time.
Growth.
Right after this.
Yeah.
It was this is all I needed to just, to just move on. So that's where that came from.
And you said the flower and the ballerina have a meaning to you?
They're a trademark for me. I usually incorporate them in most of my pieces.
Yeah, I noticed it, but I didn't put it together. That it was
when I was younger, I did ballet, and I hated it.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of funny. When I tell people that and they only see ballerina legs, I hated it so much. But now when I look back, it was such a good experience.
Yeah.
But I was young, so it was I don't want to do this. But my mom forced me to do it until it was to the point where I was okay, no, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
But that's something I wish I would have went back and I would have went back and spent more time on. I feel like with music and dance and art. It's kind of like all the same thing.
For sure.
So it's definitely something that probably would have been really, really like, I don't want to say it would help me heal and cope, but something that would have helped me express myself.
Yeah, like another outlet.
Yeah, different outlet rather than art, because I didn't always do art. So.
Yeah. When did you start painting?
Like 2 years ago.
2 years. Wow.
Literally.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
You're so talented.
Thank you.
You're so talented. And to think that like all this, I mean, I think that just goes to show like when you're kind of destined, it's already inside of you. Like when you, so it's like, it just comes so naturally to do it. So you didn't have to do it for years, or you didn't have to discover that aspect of your life years ago, you know, like.
Well, I could always kind of draw, but I wasn't into it. It wasn't something that I was passionate about.
Yeah. What caused you, like, what made you want to get into it?
Not knowing what I was going to do at all. Just confused. At the time I wasn't passionate about anything, so I was just trying to do some small stuff to just at least find like a lane that I wanted to get into. So I just tried it out, and I ended up loving it.
Yeah.
Like it was all I did.
That's dope. Okay, so that's like this one here. Perfect. I love this one because for me, I love water. Like I love the ocean. Like I love lakes. Like water. It's even like taking a shower. Like let me show it to you.
It's like therapeutic.
Yeah.
Water to me. Yeah.
Even like just taking a shower, like it's so relaxing. It's like I could just I'm there by myself. And it's just me. It's really me time, you know. Like it's just chilling. So like I love water. It's so cleansing. Like even just getting into the habit of drinking water, I think is very, very vital and important. And I love the sky. Like I love when when the sky is like that candy. Like it looks like cotton candy.
I love that.
So I love that you like did that here. Except it kind of looks. Except it kind of looks more like like the army, like your shirt that you're wearing.
I tried to do like a camouflage cloud type of thing.
I can see that. And the ocean and stuff, and you have like the ballerina legs here. Out of time. Missing you. What's the significance of like the
Well, this whole entire piece was kind of just about like the passing of time for me. So this is like my favorite piece that I have. It kind of just represents me as a whole. I'm always like I love art, but I'm always thinking like, okay, what am I gonna do next? Even though I know I want to do this forever, it's kind of like, okay, so what's next? And it's like something that I feel like I always rush. I'm always rushing. So at a time, it's like I'm always questioning myself. So.
I feel you. And then it goes into, and then you have like the skeleton hand, and then like the live, flawless slaying hand. I noticed you use that a lot too when you're painting, like
I use a lot of body parts. I'm not exactly sure why yet. I'm still like trying to discover that about myself. But it's just something that I'm so drawn to. I'm sure it means something, but I just have to figure out how to correctly go about that.
No, but I love it. It's some things is art, and it's not meant to be understood in that moment.
Yeah, actually, that's very true. A lot of my concepts, like, even when I did this at the moment, like, when I was doing it, I didn't even realize what it was about. It was just something that I wanted to do. Until later on, I was like, wow, like, in my subconscious, I probably knew what I was doing, but the whole idea didn't come until, like, way later on. Maybe, like, a month after.
Yeah.
I was just staring at it, like, this is so relevant now.
How long did it take you to create this one?
Like a week. I probably could have did it in a day, but I was trying to take my time.
I probably could have done it in a day.
No, really, I probably could have done it in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But it was something I wanted to take my time on, so.
Yeah.
Make sure everything felt right.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So, but I think like that concept of time is like going back to what we were talking about earlier, like and being in your 20s and like feeling like you're running out of time and like all these things. But I always try to remind myself it's like you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And like we're in our 20s, yo. Like we're not like you're not. I don't know. You were just dealt different cards. Like the cards you were dealt in your life,
Mm-hmm.
different from mine. Our different experiences. Maybe we can relate on some aspects, but I will never truly know what it's like to be in Des's,
Right.
footsteps and what you dealt with. Even if we dealt with something similar.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's like, we can get caught up in like, oh, comparing ourselves to these people or that people or
Yeah.
whatever. But it's like, in reality, you put the work in, you're going to get to where you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be, like, the journey, you just have to be patient with the journey, because...
Yeah, we do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We compare ourselves. Especially when you see people that have, like, a little more than you.
Yeah. But that's just all on the outside, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like they're dealing with something. Maybe they have a little bit more. Maybe they're further in their career.
Yeah.
But maybe at home you have a great loving family, or you have great friends, or maybe you have you're more financially stable. Like, there's always, it's just things aren't always what they appear. And it's like our brains pick out. Our brains can
pick and choose.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we just have to train our mind to be a little bit nicer to us. And this one...
That's good.
Okay.
Every time I look at this, I laugh.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Well, I like that the breastfeeding is going on, because people need to, like...
It's necessary. It's totally
like,
necessary.
men need to grow up. Not all men, but, the ones that are running legislation.
Right.
For real. Like, the other day, like, when breastfeeding became legal in, like, 50 states, I was like, okay, and, like, I was gonna do it anyways. Like, it's natural. Like, how do you think most of y'all were given nutrients in life?
I don't know.
Anyways, sorry. But, no, this looks very spiritual. Like, this, I want to call this one, God is a Woman.
Oh, that's a great name. I didn't even have a name for this.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
That's what, like, growing up in, like, a church, there's a lot of ups to it. But one thing is, like, I didn't, like, it's like, okay, a man is speaking, and a man is telling me, how to act and how to be. And there was a lot of, like, women, being represented in, like, leadership roles and, like, and, always having to say, like, identify with, I feel like God is just God. Like, God is not, God, if God created all of us and we're all created in His image, or see, there it is, it's like society teaching you to speak he, and it's like, we're created in His image, then, and in women we're created in God's image too. Right. So it's like, God is just an energy that is both of those.
I always had, like, a lot of strong, powerful women in my life. Mm-hmm. So going back, talking about the church, how we don't usually see women figures, like, as the head. Mm-hmm. My church had 2 pastors, and it was my uncle and his wife, my aunt. So they would just preach off each other. They would just bounce off each other during church. So she was really a big, like, somebody that I don't know if I would say I looked up to, but I always knew that, like, there was something special about my church, because it was 2 people preaching, 2 people. There was no pastor and then, like, the co-pastor or, like, anybody below. It was them together. They would preach together. And as far as, like, powerful women, my mom, my grandmother, just a lot of women in my life. So when I did this, it was like, okay, like, I already knew what I was going to do. Yeah. So I've always had a lot of inspirations as far as women being, like, strong and, like, the head of the house and, like, just a figure that I can really look at.
I think, like, women are the backbone. Like, in my house, like, my mom holds the whole family together. Like, she's, like, the glue that keeps us all together, Yeah. And it's, like, my dad is, like, amazing. I love him. But, like, I feel like, he wouldn't be the same, if my mom wasn't there. Like, and their energies together, how they bounce off and support one another is so important.
And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I don't believe in, like, the head hold of the house. Like, I don't.
It's just the man, and, like, that's it.
That's not. Yeah, that's not something that.
And it makes sense why you felt so special about your church, because it had the balance of energies. It had the male and the female energies working together.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing your art with us.
No
so
problem.
Beautiful. One day you're gonna have a whole ass art show. It's gonna be all your stuff.
And then I'm gonna have a poetry teacher by Lady Love.
Of course, I'll be there. I'll be there 100. So, also you spoke on Twitter, like, how you were a cancer survivor.
Yeah.
And I just wanted, like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, I feel like we're all, like, walking miracles, but I feel like for you to go through something like that, like, that's a crazy miracle. Like,
yeah.
And so I just wanted to, like, talk with you about, like, how that impacted your life and, like, how old were you and, like, all these things.
I was very young. I was probably, like, 8, 9, 10, maybe. Mm-hmm. It was a while ago. So it was just, when it all happened, it was so crazy. Like, there's days that go by where I don't think about it, mm-hmm. but then there's times where I'm, like, talking, like, to myself or talking to God and just, like, trying to appreciate everything that I have in my life.
Yeah.
And I think about what happened. It's just so crazy, and especially when I see stories about kids that don't survive or people that do survive, mm-hmm. it's just thinking about, like, I went through that and, like, trying to figure out exactly how it impacted me or how it made me the person I am right now.
Yeah.
So when I was young, it kind of just happened randomly. Mm-hmm. Like, out of nowhere. Like, my parents, it wasn't because of, like, smoke. It wasn't because of anything that I was born with. It just happened. And when it happened, I don't think I really realized what was going on. Mm-hmm. Like, they were telling me it was a mass on my lungs that I had. I had a black mass on my lungs. Mm-hmm. And I was confused because I never had a problem before with my health when I was younger. I was an athlete. Mm-hmm. I played sports. I played with my brother. And when it happened, I wasn't really sure how to feel because I was young. Mm-hmm. So it was like, when you're young and you think of cancer, you think, I'm gonna die. Like, like people, like,
even when you're
a lot of people, a lot of people don't survive. There's a lot of people that survive, but a lot of people don't. And it was just like, every day was just like, felt like so long. Mm-hmm. Every day felt like 48 hours. Because there was a lot of surgeries, mm-hmm. there was a lot of x-rays, there was a lot of medicine. They had a,
You're so young going through all of that.
Yeah. They had a lot of needles. I was hooked up to a lot of needles all the time. I couldn't get out of bed. And one day I went to get an x-ray before a surgery where they would go and take some of the mass off mm-hmm. and show me what it is. Mm-hmm. And they were doing my breathing and they were like, it's not there anymore.
That's crazy.
They were like, we don't know what happened, but it's not there anymore.
Did you believe it?
No. Because I still felt terrible. Uh-huh. But I was just like, it felt like, in the moment it felt so long, but in reality it happened so fast. Yeah. It was only over a course of like 6 months. Mm-hmm. So it didn't get to the point where I was like too sick to function. Mm. But it was just a random checkup one day and they were like, it's not there.
You like on a crazy amount. I can imagine your family's life changed at that point. Yeah.
A lot. And to go back on when I was mentioning the figures in my life, mm-hmm. how they were mostly women, less strong people. My grandmother was there with me every day, my great-grandmother. Mm-hmm. My grandma would come every day, my mom would be able to come every day. My dad couldn't because he worked. Yeah. But he was always there in mm-hmm. spirit. But my brother was there. But my aunt, that's a preacher, she would mm-hmm. always come and pray over me. Mm-hmm. And so that's my belief that I was healed, that God healed me. But Amen. It was definitely something that happened so fast, but it impacts me to this day. Mm-hmm. So I've been trying to slowly figure out how I'm gonna always keep that like alive. Like I want to open up like not an organization, but something where I can like go back and still like talk to kids that are going through this mm-hmm. or like donate or whatever. Because when I was in the hospital, there was people there all the time, like bringing teddy bears and whatnot. Yeah. And as much as in the moment it didn't feel like anything, now I look back at it and I still have them. Mm-hmm. And it reminds me of like mm-hmm. how I went through that and how mm-hmm. I survived it. And I think it'll do the same for a lot of other people.
For sure.
So I always wanted to do something like that. That's what I was talking about mm-hmm. on Twitter. I didn't get to do it this year mm-hmm. because I was dealing with somebody that was going to help me do it, but something came up for them.
Yeah. Well, it'll happen with the right person at the right time when you're ready. Mm-hmm. Like, it's going to happen. Like, it'll happen for you. It'll definitely. But I'm so happy that you're here with us today. And that you're creating wonderful art that I really feel like speaks to our generation and speaks to our culture, because you have more amazing things, you know. And where can people check you out at? Because check out your art. Like, what's your social media?
My social media, all my social media is the same. It's Des with it. I have a website up. I'm currently going through like a phase. But like all my art doesn't look the same because I'm still trying to figure out. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure out who I am. But all of these are on social media. My website is gonna have prints, whatnot, stuff that I'm selling. And that's about it.
And you're also a visual artist.
I'm a visual artist. I'm a visual arts major. I go to MI.
So you do like, it's not just painting that you do.
It's not painting. I do digital. I do graphic, all that stuff.
Dope. So people could like hit you up for work and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay. So
I'm active with that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming in today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, please. Comment. Let us know what you thought about this interview. And catch up with us next Wednesday.
Bye.